nicely nettled tea. So good. Your needs matter. As a woman, your personal needs matter. The more you become aware of, identify, discover your personal needs, you open the door to let more love flow into your humanity. The more you take action on meeting your needs, whether it is physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual, once again, you open the door to allow love and compassion to flow into the experience, whatever you're experiencing, and to flow into your humanity, which helps you gain more love for yourself. I wrote down some notes today because I really want to keep myself on track and get to all the points that I want to share with you. I want to tell you about a process that I went through this past weekend in identifying what I was doing to myself. And what I was doing to myself was denying or restricting love. I'm going to share with you some of the questions that I asked that are part of the formula that I've been introducing to the women in the Self-Love Society, the women that come to the live Stepping Stones events, or the women that watch the replays. I want to share with you what my needs were in that situation and how those needs were met by myself. So the details of the situation that I found myself in, the story, doesn't matter for this. What I want to share with you, I was driving this past weekend and on familiar roads, so I was able to do this work. And I realized that I felt chaos in my body. I felt chaotic, and that's when I know I am out of alignment. This is a situation, because the next thing I have written here was I was replaying the event over and over again. It was about a week that this situation was just replaying over and over again in my mind. I felt chaotic. And I realized that I no longer wanted to feel that way. And that I was the only one that could transform that to move to a different feeling that wasn't that. So I asked myself the first question of the formula that I've been sharing in the Self-Love Society. And the first question is, in this moment, what am I experiencing? So that's what I did. As I'm driving, I asked myself, in this moment, what am I experiencing? Well, I'm experiencing that chaotic feeling in my body. I'm experiencing the replay of this situation over and over again in my mind. I'm experiencing feelings I really don't want to be in anymore. I also was experiencing a lack of self-love. I was taking responsibility for the situation and responsibility in figuring out the solution to the situation. But I want to be clear, I inserted myself into the situation in this role of being the responsible one when I didn't have to. I put myself in it. No one else put me in there except for me. I was experiencing negative stories that I was telling myself, so thoughts, negative stories about myself, and negative stories about myself in relation to the situation that I inserted myself into. I was judging and criticizing myself, and I abandoned myself again. So that's what came up for me when I asked the question in this moment, what am I experiencing? And then cultivated curiosity and explored honestly my inner landscape. So here's some of those foundational practices that I talk about in the Self-Love Society. I don't just share them with you, I practice them myself. Then I asked another question, which is the second question in the formula. I asked, can I not fight with this anymore? Can I simply be with what I'm experiencing as I drive? And my answer was yes. I'm going to let myself, because I feel safe. I feel safe doing this while I'm driving, and I've done this enough to know that I can do this pretty quickly internally. But a lot of times we get a no when we ask that question. For this moment, can I just let this be here? Can I not fight with what I'm experiencing? And you might get a hard no, which is resistance. So then you go back to the first question. In this moment, what am I experiencing? I'm experiencing resistance to using this formula. But a lot of times, I don't have a statistic for you, we run away from all of this. We try to distract ourselves from these uncomfortable feelings that we don't know what to do with, or from, being a victim or replaying the story over and over again in our minds. We move towards those things that distract us, our compulsions, our addictions, cell phones, scrolling, drugs, alcohol, food, binge watching, Netflix, whatever. This question in this moment, can I just let this be here? Can I just sit with this and not fight with it? I give myself permission to face it and feel it and move through it, because that's the way we heal. So my next question, aware of the lack of love for myself in the moment. Why did I write that there? So I wrote these notes to keep me on track, and now I'm questioning them. I was aware of the lack of love for myself in the moment. So I asked myself, okay, I'm sitting with this. I'm aware of the lack of love. What would loving myself right now look like, feel like, or sound like? So I asked myself that question and I explored again. I let my awareness just explore what was happening in my heart and in my body. It would look, feel, and sound like compassion, kindness, quieting the hostile voices playing in my mind. It would look like bringing my hand to my heart, focused on my breathing as I drove. So this is something we talked about last week, your cosmic heart. Taking moments to bring a palm or both palms to your heart center and focusing on your breathing, maybe cultivating that curiosity as well, and exploring deeper than surface level what's going on in your inner landscape. So just this awareness, the compassion, kindness, quieting the hostile stories, bringing my hand to my heart, focusing on my breath, led me to asking myself about my own personal needs. The idea of what do I need right now surfaced through my heart by taking that moment of stillness. I realized in that moment, love for self is identified in and meeting my own personal needs. That moment, I offered myself that question, what do I need right now? Brought in this feeling of softness, which is compassion and love. This opens the door to let love pour in. In this moment, what do I really need? That's the question that I asked myself. And that's one of the questions in the technique, in the awareness technique that I've been sharing piecemeal, bit by bit, in some of the previous weeks of the stepping stones. I needed to soften to myself. I needed to remove myself mentally from the situation that I put myself in the middle of. And in truth, was not my responsibility to figure out the solution. So that's what I needed. I needed to remove myself mentally from that place of responsibility that I put myself in. I needed to address or dialogue with the part of me who believed it was my responsibility. I needed to offer compassion to the triggered, wounded, younger, and more vulnerable parts of myself that had been crying out for my undivided, non-judgmental, loving attention. That was the chaos I was feeling in my body. I needed to connect with my inner child, the child of my heart. I was able to do all that while I was driving. I took myself out of the situation. I addressed or I dialogued with that part of me who thought I was responsible. So these are mental dialogues that I'm creating with parts of me inside. Sometimes I talk out loud too. I offered compassion to those wounded, triggered parts of myself. I met them with understanding, with patience, with curiosity, with a willingness to understand them. And I connected with my inner child. The inner child lives within our heart, and that's another week that we're going to be talking about sometime soon in the Stepping Stones. So I did all that as I was driving. I met my own mental, emotional, and spiritual needs, which was the way I brought compassion to myself and my experience. And this is one of the questions in the awareness technique. In what way can I infuse this experience or my experience with compassion? When we open up to all of that, when we ask the questions, when we're willing to explore, when we're willing to identify our own personal needs and meet those needs on our own, once again, as I said at the beginning, we open the floodgates to let love and compassion come into the experience and into our humanity. And yes, I want to note here, because we talked about this one week, the idea or the fear of selfishness when you focus on your own personal needs, or the feelings of guilt arising when you focus on meeting your own personal needs, when you set a boundary, when you say no. And these are just more layers to use these foundational practices with. So if you do something like this, if you ask the question, in this moment, what am I experiencing? For this moment, can I let this be here? Can I not fight with this? Can I not run away from this and sit with it, face it, and feel it? In what way can I infuse this experience with compassion? And in this moment, what do I truly need? You may feel that fear of selfishness. You may feel the guilt rising up within you, but then you take that technique, that process, and use it. Sit with the fear of being selfish. Explore that feeling of guilt that is arising for you. This is how we move through the different layers to peel back who we are not, to heal the wounds so that more love can flow in, more love for ourselves as we come closer and closer and closer to the core of who we really are, which is love. Unconditional love for yourself by identifying your personal needs and then taking steps to meet those needs. This is what we're going to be talking about this evening. Today's Wednesday, September 3rd. The live Stepping Stones event is 6 to 7 p.m. tonight in the Self-Love Society inside of the Enlightened Network. For those of you who are watching this on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, because I'm going to share this video, this is our topic of discussion tonight, and I invite you to join us. One last time, your needs matter. As a woman, your personal needs matter as much as anyone else. Love yourself.